All right, let's talk about three words you hear all the time: data, information, knowledge, right? They're everywhere, in meetings, on the news, you name it. We kind of toss them around like they mean the same thing. But here's the deal: they absolutely don't. And getting the difference straight, well, that's the secret sauce to making sense of, well, pretty much everything.
So, what is the actual difference? Why does it even matter? Because honestly, nailing this down is a total game changer for making smarter decisions no matter what you do. So, let's break it down piece by piece and build this thing from the ground up.
Okay, so our journey's got to start at the very bottom, at the foundation. Before you can have any kind of big idea or brilliant strategy, you have to start with one thing: data. Think of it as the raw material, like the Lego bricks of everything we're about to build.
So, what is data, really? Well, you can think of data points as just raw, unprocessed stuff. Individual numbers, letters, maybe a sound clip, a symbol. They're like tiny little fragments of reality. But here's the most important part. On their own, they're totally meaningless. A single piece of data is a fact, for sure, but with zero context, it doesn't tell you a thing. It's not telling a story yet.
Let's make this real. Picture a company doing some market research, right? They send out a survey. Every single answer that comes back, every time someone checks a box or types in a word, that's one single raw piece of data. And let's say one of those responses is just yes. Okay, that's a fact. We know respondent number 7 said yes. But yes to what? Are they male, female? Are they buying a product? Did they like the new logo? See? By itself, that yes is completely useless. It's just a lonely ingredient on the counter waiting for a recipe. So, how do we take that lonely, meaningless yes and actually make it useful? Well, we've got to climb to the next level of the pyramid: information. This is the part where we stop just collecting random puzzle pieces and we start actually fitting them together.
Information is what happens when you take all that raw data and you start to process it. You organize it, you give it some structure, you add context, and all of a sudden, boom, it has meaning. It starts answering those basic but super important questions: who, what, where, when. This is when data finally becomes useful.
Just look at this. On one side, you've got that raw data we were talking about. It's just a total jumble of random facts, right? Yes, male, candidate A, age 34. It's impossible to see any kind of pattern in that mess. But the whole point is to process that chaos, to organize it, and to pull out something that actually makes sense. And what you get when you do that, well, it's pretty powerful.
And this is what you get, see? By taking all those chaotic little data points and organizing them, we get this nice, clean table. This is information. Now we can actually see a story starting to form. Whoa, look at that. 72% of young men are into candidate A, but young women, they're leaning toward candidate B. We've officially turned a pile of random facts into some seriously understandable insight.
But hold on, we're not done yet. Just having that insight isn't the end of the line. Now we climb to the very top of the pyramid, to knowledge. And this, my friends, is where everything changes. This is where information goes from being something you simply know to something you can actually do. It's where insight sparks action.
See, knowledge is so much more than just having the facts lined up. It's about truly understanding the why behind it all. It's what happens when you mix that information with your own human experience, your gut feelings, your judgment, your expertise. Knowledge answers the biggest question of all. Not just what's going on, but so what? What are we going to do about it?
And here it is. This is that leap into action we're talking about. This sentence right here, that's pure knowledge. It doesn't just state the fact. It takes that 72% of young men's stat, combines it with a real-world marketing experience, and creates an actual strategic plan. That is the moment when insight turns into a smart decision. And that is the incredible power of knowledge.
All right, let's zoom out and recap that whole journey one last time.
Let's look at the complete path from one single lonely fact all the way to a smart, confident decision.
Okay, so it all kicks off with data, right? Just collecting those raw, disconnected facts. Then you process that mess into information by organizing it, giving it context, and spotting the patterns. And the final, crucial step? You apply your own experience to that information to create knowledge, a real actionable strategy. From data to information to knowledge. That, right there, is how you turn random noise into real value. So I want to leave you with this one question to think about. Take a look at your own work, your own life. Where are you stuck just collecting data? Maybe you feel like you're drowning in spreadsheets and numbers. Are you truly moving up that pyramid, turning all that data into useful information? And then, most importantly, into the powerful, actionable thing we call knowledge. It's a really important question to ask yourself.